All right, so off the opening, as we said, this is yesterday's high that we're holding at, or yesterday's low, excuse me. Higher time frame inefficiency. This level here is the old daily swing point. So if we go to a higher time frame, right, we wick it the first time, we displace above it, we use it as support. If we're going to close below that, we would expect to go bearish. So I kind of want to see how this 4-hour candlestick will close at 10 o'clock. Might have to wait for that, honestly, before we even look to engage. 9:30. When we have large 8:30 moves like this, we don't really expect craziness at 9:30. Just something to remember. So for me, let's see here. What's the opening range at? Okay. Opening range midpoint would be a good objective. As you said though, this old liquidity is going to be pretty important as a dynamic support and resistance level. So as we wick into that at 9:30, I'm curious to see if we're going to invert this fair value gap. If we do, we'll look for these relative equal lows in the short term. If we displace and close below yesterday's low, we might actually target this low here. If we want to see midpoint, ideally we try to hold this, close above the old daily swing point, and then start running from there. Close above this swing point here. NQ leading the way a little bit. A lot of it. So NQ is holding that fair value gap. ES struggling here. We'll see if they give way actually. NQ just picked up that short-term high. We'll see if we can push above and close above that. Bullish fair value or volume balance trying to be created as well. Okay, this 1 and 2 minute same fair value gap. We got closure above the actual swing point in NQ. We'd look for the volume balance to hold the body. Hold buy side to actually hold the body as well. SMT at the highest currently. If we break back inside this range, back underneath the opening range here in NQ, we might actually start going bearish. Closure below that fair value gap. Volume balance opens inside. We have to give this a chance to pretty much negate that. So we'll see if this one candle negates or if it holds and closes underneath again. Let's say this candle closes underneath this 1 minute and the 2 minute potentially. Okay, so that's why we wait. One candle's opportunity. If we're going to pick up this short-term low, hold the low of the 2 minute, and then create this candlestick, we should see the next one try to push outside. If we're going to start running bullish, either this candle or the next one will close above this fair value gap, then we should use it as support. See how we interact with this buy side once again. Displacement through it, okay. NQ leading the way. NQ held that perfectly. So far NQ holding strong. Delivering as expected. All right, we hold that volume imbalance nicely. ES displaces above the old buy side, so from here we'd want to see a continuation as well. Was opening range gap. Okay, so we already got midpoint in NQ. We haven't reached it yet in ES. I'd like to see us reach that. If we leave this first presented here, that's going to be pretty significant. That'll be the old buy side. It's going to be a new day opening gap. And now the first presented there as well. Alright, first presented, formed, aligned with the old buy side. That should hold price there. We'll try one early. Can actually go. We'll aim for midnight here. Okay, we'll see if this plays out. Simply a continuation trade. So we deliver lower, we consolidate. I'm looking at this low, this high, and this lower low. As we close above this, we can activate this as the breaker as well. So the breaker has been activated, paired with the old buy side. Let me just double check. We closed above that. Yeah, we did. Okay. So yeah, I don't mind this there. NQ, same fair value gap. Is it anchored to anything as well? It's anchored to the midpoint. So we would expect both of these first presented to try to hold. The high of that is the midpoint and the low is previous day's low. So pretty key areas there. All right. Getting the retracement. See if we can get into entry. Equal highs here. I like that. Let's see if we get the entry here. Just waiting for that. Oh, perfect. Okay, we got entry. Oh, excuse me. As you guys know, I always like to swing lows. Early indication we're going to be on sides. So we want this here to be a swing low. Nice. Let's see if we can get these equal highs here. 5 handles. Maybe we partial one there. I don't mind that actually at all. Easy partial. Keeping it simple. And then we go stop here. We'll just target midpoint. I don't mind that. Little base hit to start the day. Swing low to swing high. We'll take that. Is that the 5 minute? Okay. So we should still be good. We'll probably just create a swing high here. Retest the first presented one more time if needed, and then run through the swing high. That's kind of the expectation here. Maybe a little seek and destroy, pick up this low because we didn't get midpoint yet of the first presented. We can come into that. Already secured partials. Move stop loss. So if we get stopped here, this still will be a winning trade. And that's how we like to treat it there. Targets don't need to be met to be profitable. If targets are met, that's just an added bonus. So there's the swing high. Ideally, we just run for that high. Like, we don't even come back into this fair value gap. We might need to come back down, actually, though. Notice how NQ didn't get that fair value gap. So now we have equal lows near its first presented. We could see that being ran. This is an instance where we can retest this multiple times, so we can't really be too early to move the stop. And if we get stopped, we'll just look for another entry. We'll actually be smart and just keep our stop right below this candle. So the candle that created the first presented, we'll just have it below its opening there. Just debating if I actually want to try to get midnight or just be content with the midpoint. Midnight or midpoint? Let's go, we'll go midpoint. Could always look for another entry if we displace above that. Look to continue. Closure above this high. Stop will go right below this now. Never like that, right? Never like the wick of the high with closing inside the range in both NQ and ES. When we attack highs, we want to close above those highs. Still got 15 seconds, so candle can make an attempt to get back up there. Right now, not looking too hot though. Turtle soup. Okay, we still never got back into that, so NQ might want to run these lows real quick. Oh, what happened? Okay, closure above here. At this point, our stop will be here. We don't like when we're wicking highs like that. We just need to expand into midpoint, get us out. If we close above this high, next candle will take us out here. Closure above, break even, easy break even. Now we wait for final target. And 43. Yep. Order block here. Closure above, next candle trades back into it. Displacement above. As we retest now this candle, right, that'll be the propulsion. And that's what we see. Wick, that's why we see the expansion, and that's why we're fine with our stop at break even now. Because really this should be the protected low until midpoint gets met up here. Bullish fair value gap, right, so that should hold as well. If anything, leave that open. Just run into midpoint. Equal highs. That's kind of where you just got to commit to it. Well, not much to do. This is when people start getting the most nervous, when it's right next to exit. Running highs in NQ, not ideal. But with equal highs here, my expectation would be if we do want to revisit this fair value gap, it'll be a quick return into that, and then we'll get the acceleration to run the equal highs, deliver into our midpoint. Really, we should leave this open until midpoint is hit, because this is already balanced in here, this fair value gap. So there's no need to really go in there, which is why ideally, right, we leave that open, we just push straight into midpoint. We just ran those equal highs. I don't like that, actually. It's all right. We should pump. And there it is. Perfect. So now we wait and see what kind of reaction do we get here. Do we close above that level? If we close above that level, leave a new discount, we'll try to get in again. Target the new day opening gap. Midnight, kind of where we wanted to target originally. And Q stays pretty bullish as well, so okay. That's fine with me though. Right, we could always re-enter. So far today, quick little sniper entry. Swing low to swing high. That's not going to be a swing high, but at this point we want to see this fair value gap get left open. We leave that open, we'll add one more back. Using this midpoint. This low, as we said, should be protected. High the opening range. We're starting to pump. So yeah, we'll look for that. Maybe our midnight target would have been nice. Oh, yep, right into it. That's all right. As we say, we are content with enough. We will try to add another. It's kind of a larger stop than I would like, if I'm being honest. That's okay. Already secured the dub, so just one. We could allow a little bit more risk. We're going to use midpoint exactly. So for low-hanging fruit, you would use just the high of the fair value gap. But I like to use the midpoint of it. As we said, that should be a breakaway because this is already balanced. So in reality, we could go like this, which I might do this. Yeah, we're going to do this. This candle here. That's unfortunate. I had a limit here, an NQ as well. No, we never got entered on. It's alright though. So yeah, we'll look for a retracement and then a final push into the high. Whoa. Falling knife, that's fine. Right, as we say, we want that to be a swing low. I don't like that we close below the midpoint, if I'm being honest. I want that to be a wick. So this candle needs to pretty much get right back above, turn this into a swing low. Because if we end up holding and using the midpoint as resistance now, it'll just be ugly. Yep, that's what our target is up here. We have the actual high, but we should get into new day opening gap here. Ideally. If we can close above midpoint, that's really what we're watching now. That's where our attention goes to. Ooh, we don't want that. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good at all, actually. So as we said, this is kind of our last line of defense. We get below that, we'll get stopped, and then we'll look for something else. We'll reassess. Actually, I'll probably go bathroom real quick. That's what I'm gonna do. Apologies. All right, perfect. All right, little reset. It's only 9:55, so I'll be right back. Give me a few minutes. All right, we're back. Oh, of course. Sounds right. Did we get back into the... No, we didn't get back into the fair value gap. I still like that. We might try that again. Another fair value gap created at midpoint. We left equal lows. Da, 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 da. Did we close above? We did not. Yeah, I'd like to see this hold here. We've gotten back above opening range and Q as well. So we'll see if we can't hold that. I just wish we would have got this low. Same here. If we could have swept this low, we would trust this a lot more. Same idea with NQ. If we could actually get back into the first presented. Okay. Also retracement. We try one more. Let's see, we've done 2. Sure. I don't mind one more. So if we lose here, that'll be break even on us for the day. I'm fine with the break even. I'd rather try to be involved here. We're using midpoint pretty much again. Same stop. Antonio. No, Antonio's been here. He's got the OG tag. That's the other user? What do you mean? Now you got me confused. No, look, if I click on his name right there. OG, this guy. Antonio. Oh, interesting. Yeah, this one. Nah, he the OG. All right, so we just opened a new hourly candle. We have a 1 hour fair value gap now up here. This will be a good entry because it'll be below the hourly open. So power of 3, we'd like to see that, right? An entry below the opening if we're going to be bullish for this bullish candlestick here. So yeah, it's been a while, man. Welcome back. Oh, maybe I'd do that. I kind of like having the high, the 5 and the 15 though, to be honest. Equal highs there. Should get above that. These here, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Pick up these little lows. As you said, if we can get entry below the hourly open, that'd be ideal. Ooh, we just got the high though. So now we could be in a little bit dangerous situation here. 1 hour fair value gap. We may start reversing on us. Especially, yeah, we hold there. It's gonna be an interesting spot. Do we leave it? We'll leave it. High risk entry. This will be one of those where we should be wrong quickly if we are going to be offsides. Right, because now we've just picked up the short-term high. If we break below this fair value gap, get closure below that, we'll expect to stop. So after running the high, that's when we're going to get the retracement, right? That's what we would expect there. Now it's just a matter of if that retracement holds or does it fall right through. It's really all about the close here. Close will be the most important. Okay, so far, I mean, that'll be ideal if we could do that. Lucky we might just take a partial right away at 5 up here. What's that? That's over 5. Yep. You know us, very quick to partial. Partial, then move stop. If we get it. That, I mean, that's perfect. If that stays this swing low, that'll be money. If we get below this low now, that's even worse than just closing below the first time. So this is where we definitely want to see this wick be held until we run this high. Because if we displace back below that wick and close below it, that's going to be a premium. If we can get partial, stop will be below this candle that creates the 1 minute fair value gap here. Yeah, we don't like that. We can pick up that low, that's fine, but as we said, if we close below that low, that's going to be an issue. Yeah, alright. Don't like it. We're going to try to use midpoint to keep running lower. Yeah, that's what we'll look for. Especially if we leave that, right, if we leave a bearish fair value gap here, that's going to be even worse. Closure below the wick. If we respect that wick, close below it and leave the bearish fair value gap, that's going to be pretty bearish. And what we would actually do is, okay, if we can regain that, this needs to be the swing low here. We've closed in the fair value gap, that's nice. We just need to push for it. If we get stopped, or if we get our partial here, this will be the new stop, this low. One dangerous thing is this may be an immediate rebalance. That'd be like worst case scenario if we're being honest. So now that we've hit this candlestick's low, if this candle runs all the way back and closes back below this wick here, it's going to be very bad. Okay, so we're able to close in the range. So at this point, we need to try to support or use this fair value gap. I wouldn't want to see this low be breached. We need to get back above this candle's low. Close above that. And ideally get back above this wick. Get up here. Because in reality, we're just going to use this wick. The midpoint, right? As we close below the midpoint will become an inversion level. So that's what we're watching now. We don't want to see this candle respect that. That'll lead to a pretty quick fall off to attack this low. Yeah, it's terrible. Retesting, need to get above it this time. Need to get it back up here, above this level. Oof, yeah, look at that, that's terrible. What we're actually gonna do, close one. Cut risk. Close one, no partial. Stop loss adjusted. Final target, right above buy side. Keep it easy. What we may actually do, we might use stop loss as partial. Because I like new day opening gap level there. It depends on how we close above this wick. We'll see. We'll look to engage with buy side and then see if we can close above that or not. Right, so now the wick high is going to act as resistance, just like we saw the midpoint act as resistance. But we're looking to close above that level. I mean, that's perfect. Hard to argue that, right? What's the candle? Oh, I was like, it didn't even move for 10 seconds. Small fair value gap here. We want that to hold. We need to close above the wick high. Stop moved. We'll look for pretty much displacement through the buy side. We engage buy side, we go break even. Perfect. This might be a volume balance entry here. Cool. All right, well, what time is it? 10:20. Just debating if we want to keep on pushing. 2 for 3 this morning, good gains. Maybe we try one last continuation. I want to see if this candlestick can close above the daily open. Right, because now we're going to have that inefficiency there right at midnight. Paired with the old buy side as well. It's kind of juicy. New day opening gap. We can go for full closure of this fair value gap. This should be balanced in here. We'll just tape read this one. That would have been entry. Stop loss below this wick. For a little 5-handle run. Ooh, we'd have been stopped. See, that's why we don't do it. When we're in the upper quadrant of like a target, this is kind of where I let trades, like I more so just follow the trade setup rather than actually trying to execute and stack positions. So if the objective is we're going to get to the high of the opening range, this entry is already in a premium. This entry is right at equilibrium, which is why it's a lot more safe to do. Oh, we didn't get the swing high. That's unfortunate. One candle away. Okay, well now, let's see. What could we do from here? Low, higher 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 low. That's a lot of trendline liquidity. I kind of want to go bearish from here, actually. Here already may be an opportunity, but we kind of want to wait for a true break in structure at this point. Because we've put so many higher lows in place, we can continue that. So we don't want to try to jump in front of that, even if we're expecting this to get ran. We can look for the early premium to hold here, but then we'd want to see actually, oh, we already have that. So we could watch this originally, the inversion with the bearish, but closing below this low would be a better indication of whether or not we're going to start running bearish. What's this look like? Opening range here in NQ as well. That's why we're getting held up. So bullish for value gap paired with opening range. At this point, as we said, we're just waiting to see if we can get below this low or not. We didn't make equal lows, okay? So once again, a higher low. We can kind of expect that, as we said. We'll look for this to be inverted now. NQ held its opening range nicely. 830 level inside of that. We pick up a short-term low. Oh, all right, getting a little immediate rebalance here. So we would expect that to run bullish if we're going to expect higher prices, especially as we clear a short-term low, displacement, order block, immediate rebalance should see the expansion. First time revisiting the bearish fair value gap here. As you said, this will be a pretty important area. If we hold that, break through these lows, we'll start looking for bearishness. But I would expect this gets inverted, use it as support, run it high again, close in the 1 minute fully, is what we're looking at here. NQ did just run this high, however, so maybe SMT. If we reverse from here and hold that, that'll be nice for shorts, but I'm not convinced, right? I still think we go bullish. So we need to be proven wrong in that idea by closing below these lows. Until then, we expect discounts to hold for buy side to keep being targeted. We'd expect new day opening gap to hold an NQ. So then we want to see this get displaced above. What we often see is if we're going to close above midpoint like this, so this candle's closed above this midpoint of this fair value gap, oftentimes the low of that will then be used as support if we want to go bullish. So now, right, this candle perfectly delivers into that low and we left a fair value gap. I would expect this to hold price and create another bullish push. As if we want to. We might not even need to come in here. We could just push up right through it and just run. We close above. We definitely would expect this to hold price now. Okay, so we're hitting new day opening gap. We would expect hesitation, but as we trade back into this fair value gap, we would expect that to hold. To finally get to the high of this, probably close in this, I like 830. Oh, it's gonna run just straight for it. Okay, so there's the high. No entry. As we said, we continue with the higher lows. We might just pump from here, closure above. If we leave an inefficiency there paired with the opening range, we could see it attack the equal highs actually that we marked out this morning. That might be the expectation here. Yeah, especially if we leave that. We're gonna wait and see if we leave a fair value gap there. Like if it was left perfectly with this high like this. What's the opening range? Okay. Let's see if that gets created right here. The exact fair value gap. That's hilarious. So we would expect that to hold. Yeah. That should hold us and accelerate us. This is where we would expect this to hold. And like this fair value gap be a breakaway, this fair value gap be a breakaway. Until we get to 830 at least. Yeah, especially because it's past 1030, right? So we've closed above the opening range high here. Which is why I would expect this to try to hold in the short term. New day opening gap there. See how we get for the close here. If we close back above this fair value gap, I would almost expect this to be the swing low. Especially if we actually closed above the opening range. So watch what this candlestick can do here. Okay. So we would almost expect this to be the low. So as this candle retest the midpoint, we'd want to see that push and try to close above the fair value gap now. That'll rebalance this little fair value gap. From there, we would expect this high to be targeted. We get through this low, close below this, that'll be an inversion. And from there, we might actually want to try to target these equal lows, especially if we close back below this new day opening gap here. Okay, closure again there. As we said, we'd want this to be the swing low if we're going to try to attack this high. Especially if we leave this volume imbalance open, we should just run for this. As we said, this is all price should try to really do if we're going to make a quick run into 830 here in this bullish leg. Looking for closure above opening range high. Was debating a little entry here, but it'd give us a very tight stop. But if I'm trying to just get to 830, that doesn't give us enough room for a profit at all. And I'm not sure if we'll get these highs. So I'm fine just watching this one. Right, this should hold now that we have that volume imbalance there. We would expect this fair value gap to hold us, accelerate us through the high. Still waiting to close above the opening range. As soon as we do that, that to me will kind of be the indication that we'll be free to push and run higher. You can see price really struggling to get above that. Yep, once again, perfectly respecting that level. Put in a new swing low here. So this becomes an intermediate swing point. We actually would want to see this low be respected until this high gets targeted. So like for me, I would expect this low to hold for now. We shouldn't even retest this until we attack that high. Beautiful. Just like that. 830, we got 830. Nice. All right, so from here, don't really have any more objectives. The equal highs, if we want to stay bullish, we could just see if we want to push up into that. As we explained, this fair value gap holds. These become breakaways. Why is that? Why do we expect that? Price in here is already balanced. So as soon as we close above this new day opening gap, that becomes the flip point. And as soon as we do that, everything below that new day opening gap becomes irrelevant. We should have no need to have to return any lower. And that's why we see that fair value gap that's paired with the new day opening gap. As we close above it, that's all price uses. Right, this is not chasing. A lot of people, as they're learning, will think like this is chasing price if you're trying to expect this to hold, because we have these inefficiencies. But you just have to understand the PD array matrix, right? Premium and discount. As soon as we close above this new day opening gap, it turns it from a premium into a discount. So now this entry is using a new discount, right? We're not in a premium anymore. 5 minute, 2 minute, perfect respect to the 5 minute, 1 minute rejection block here. At this point, we could see the breakdown. I still notice really since we opened down here, it's all been higher lows. That's what we've been talking about. Higher lows, higher lows. I'd like to see if we invert this now. If we get below this now, that'll set up a nice shorting opportunity into the relative equal lows here. Retesting opening range. Closing above this high to me indicates we're probably going to want to try to run this high again. So as we revisit this fair value gap, we could still hold from there. That's almost what I would expect. Especially if the 15 here closes above the 15-minute bearish. Still expecting this to hold here. As of now, its opening range is what's holding us. So if we continue to do that, we won't even need to come back into this fair value gap actually. Yeah, that opening range is really supporting us. Okay. I'd almost expect us to just go bullish from there. Now that we put that swing low in place right here. This might hold if we close above this candlestick's high. Okay, yeah, we're still going. Honestly, if we run these equal highs, I would expect us to break from there. We followed the bullishness all morning. That's what we were expecting. But once we've reached this external range, I would actually like to see us reverse and attack all of this. Turn it into a buy to sell model. As we said, opening range high holds now. There's the expansion. Look for this. Boom, blasted through. Cool. All right, well, honestly, that's pretty much the objective we had this morning. Equal highs. We got all the way back up. From the old buy side, right, that was an A+ setup here. First presented paired with the daily swing point and a wick and previous day's high and a new day opening gap and a bullish breaker. Yeah, that was textbook. Closure above, so at this point we might actually just keep pushing. What we'd like to see actually is if we can leave a fair value gap here and invert that, that'll be a textbook short. Pick up the liquidity, create a discount, disregard the discount, invert it, we get lower. Damn, yeah, I almost expect, what do we have? First presented here. We might even go for yesterday's high at this point. Have an outside range day where we pick up yesterday's low and yesterday's high. That's what I think will take place here, if I'm being honest. Pretty bullish. So yeah, we leave that. Yeah, we should hold that. As we said, don't want to call the top. Just keep following the discounts. In days like this, just continue to follow the most recent discount. That'll be this fair value gap paired with the equal highs. Let's see if we use this, we can get into the first presented here. If we wanted to target the high. $10.50. So we'll see if this last 10 minutes can give us one more bullish run. These were the equal highs that we had yesterday. We've closed above this 5-minute here, or the 15-minute. So we may try to use that in the short term anyways. Fall through that. See if we hold there. Fair value gap, I like to actually retest the old buy side. May just use the fair value gap though, we'll see. Okay, this previous day's high, as we said, if we displace below this fair value gap, we may go bearish, but at this point we're just looking for the bullishness to continue. So we should see if this old high will hold now. If we're going to displace above the old high, leave a discount aligned with it, oftentimes that'll hold if we want another bullish move. Displacement below that, potential inversion to start attacking some lows here. You really want, like, as we've been saying, a break in the structure to fully confirm that, because we can come even all the way back down into 830 and still bounce from there. I wouldn't be surprised, or even the opening range. So for us to really, like, want to go short at all, I'd need to see an actual break of some type of low. Ideally this one. That would be my flip point. May find some opportunity up here. When it's like already. You could use like a risk entry, something like this. But none of these are going to be confirmation entries in my opinion. If we're going to go bearish though, now that we close below the old high, we should try to use it as resistance. See if we invert here. Bearish fair value gap, we'll see what that does in NQ. Gonna have a very small bearish fair value gap in ES as well. Potentially, I guess, gotta wait. Not closed yet. That was weird. We do, look at that. We leave that perfectly with the old buy side. So now this becomes pretty much the flip point. If we get back above that, we'll expect, as we say, the bullishness to resume. If we're going to hold that and break lower though, especially if we traded into this first and then close below this fair value gap, we'd look for the bearishness to start purging and reverting this liquidity, right? High of day so far. We get above that, we invert it, that's bullish. We'll look for the high again. Okay, NQ kind of leading the way. Let's see if we get lower. We close below midpoint again. So at this point, if we're going to close below, try to get above, close below instead. We'll expect the bearishness. We're going to watch the low of this fair value gap though. This could be sensitive. We'll see if this candle after hitting the low gives a quick displacement to close above midpoint. If we end up trading into this low, revisiting midpoint, holding that, and staying below it, as we said, we'll look for the bullishness or the bearishness to continue. Currently in the macro time frame, so we'll see if we create something here. There's the midpoint. We hit the low first. So by hitting the low first and then hitting midpoint, we should get above that if we want to stay bullish. If we're going to stay bearish, we're going to respect that. And if anything, this candle is going to run bearish again and actually close below the fair value gap here. Oh yeah, that's more bearish. Okay. Bullish volume imbalance. Let's see what that does. We didn't close outside yet. Now that we've fully delivered into the low, as we said, we're watching midpoint here. Continues to hold. We attack that low, close below. That'll be a sign we look for the sell-off. So we didn't leave any inefficiency 5. We did leave a 2-minute, okay. Once again, midpoint hold, and yeah. So we would expect like a quick fall. If we're going to try to break lower, it need to be pretty quickly. As we said, holding that midpoint. We just picked up these short-term lows. Let's see what this candlestick does here. Midpoint again. So after clearing the short-term lows, if we retest midpoint and hold that, we're just continuing to really hold premiums, showing an unwillingness to get back above that level. We need to fall pretty quickly though. Yeah, nice. 2-minute fair value gap here. You said we really could come all the way into 830 and still hold, so. First closure below. We'll see if that maintains. We should start running bearish if that's going to close below like that. And Q already leading the way, a lot heavier. There's 830 as we mentioned, with the 2-minute closure below that, we'll get opening range again. And Q, as we said, leading the way, already heavy. So no real entry in here. We just fell. Entry would have been like trying to use this, as we said. But even that might not have given it to you because it hit it perfectly. Nice, okay. So yeah, that ends up being the high. We did just pick up this low. We'll see what we get there. We'll wait till 11 and then we'll call it a day. New day opening gap. We left that fair value gap there. So if we want to stay heavy, we'll just use this premium and we'll keep falling. We invert that, we'll look for these highs again. Because we'll be getting back above 830 after picking up a short-term low and holding the opening range high. In NQ, we are at its 830 as well. So kind of same idea. We didn't get a low in NQ at all. What low is that? Okay. So no real SMT. We picked up both these lows. But we're in a spot now where if we do want to stay bearish, right, both of these premiums should hold. This fair value gap with 830. This fair value gap that's also paired with 830 in both of them. We'll look for closure below this here. As we said, this will kind of be the first true break in structure if we can close below this. Especially now because we wicked it the first time. Really just waiting to see if we get closure below this. What time? 11. This becomes a failure swing and we displace above. That'll be more bullish. Squish. Okay. We'll probably just call it here, actually. We're content with what we had today. So our final objective was met. Buy side up here. We took advantage of the first presented today. So heading into the open, we were consolidating. We run a short-term low just before. We create a fair value gap. 930 holds that fair value gap, gives us displacement above the daily swing point, above yesterday's low, creating the bullish breaker as we're saying, and we had a new day opening gap. So a lot of confluences to trust this. We get the swing low entry, partial at the swing high, fully close at midpoint. Tried to use midpoint looking for the bullish continuation. Gave a deeper retracement than we'd like to see, but right, got back above, reconfirming that idea. So we re-enter again right on midpoint of the opening range. This time we catch that swing low. Started showing things we didn't want to see, so we're just partialing here at break even pretty much, allowing one more to run, and that's what we got. So after cutting risk, we got the release, still was able to profit there. And now we're just here, right? We delivered into the buy side, didn't capture any of that, gave a slight retracement, didn't capture any of that either. Really no need. And now we're just consolidating at the opening range. So yeah, good day overall. Just bullish delivery. Right, as we said, really all the higher lows were protected. So once you realize that we're in that bullish delivery, pretty easily to hop on board and take advantage of it. In reality, we're really still just consolidating, right? So we picked up these lows, we run up, we pick up the relative equal highs, but we don't really break in either direction. Notice that. As we run these lows, we hold and close within that range. As we run at the highs, same thing. We still close in the range. So in my mind, we're still choppy. If we can get closure below these highs later today, then we'll look for this high. But if not, I wouldn't be surprised to see price just kind of return into midpoint of this range here and just kind of consolidate the rest of the day. But yeah, overall, good day today. Good day yesterday as well. So honestly, we may just call it, what's tomorrow? Let me see what we have tomorrow. We might just call it a week here and be content with what we had this week. Tomorrow we do have a lot of news tomorrow actually. Yeah, okay. We'll have another one tomorrow. So high impact news at 10 o'clock tomorrow. We'll come back at like 9:50 and just see if we can get some type of silver bullet set up to take advantage of to close out the week. So yeah, plan for that. We'll meet up tomorrow morning about 9:50 a.m. Eastern time, and we'll see what we can get to close out the week. Until then, everybody, hope you found today helpful. Be safe, and we will talk tomorrow morning. Sure, yeah, we could do YouTube actually. We'll do that. A little YouTube session to close the week. So tomorrow morning on YouTube, 9:50. I will see you guys then. Take care.